What this business is all about is finding a company and a product that you can truly be passionate about, because people can see, people know, like, right? They know if you are into it or not.
Welcome, everybody. Today, I have an incredible, amazing guest. Not only has she been my mentor, but she's also become my dear friend, Sarah Robinson. So let me give people a little bit of a backstory of how you've been mentoring me. This is about a new business venture that I incurred in last year. I've just finished having my first year anniversary. And it is a technology that literally changed my life, that of my parents. And then it started spilling over and changing so many people's lives around us, right? My parents were really sick. I came to visit them in Mexico City, and they were in such bad shape physically that I thought, okay, this is my dad's last Christmas for sure. And one night I just couldn't see and just couldn't physically take to see my dad in so much pain. And I prayed to God, and some people tell me, don't share that story. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sharing it because it's true. It happened to me. I knelt down and I prayed to God to send me something that I could use to help my parents, because I feel like I've been very blessed in following my guidance, following God's lead, and I'm very happy to do it. But I said to God, I'm happy to keep doing your work, but you've got to help me help my parents, because without them, I'm nothing. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from my girlfriend in New York, to whom I'm so grateful, because she turned me on to this technology and said, yeah, Hannah, you have to look at this. This is right up your alley. You are going to love it. I went on this call. 10 minutes into hearing what it was, I knew it was a heck yes in my entire body. And I knew that this was my answer that I prayed for 2 weeks ago. I don't know what's going to come of this, but I know this is God answering me. And you know those decisions you make in that one moment that change your entire life? This was one of those for me. And as I started learning, because I got into the business, my parents' health started skyrocketing to thriving, from my mom using a walker to get around to using 3-inch heels in a month and a half. It was almost unbelievable. And I keep telling people, it's not magic, it's science, but it sometimes does feel like magic or a sheer miracle, right? And so as luck would have it, God put in my path this wonderful lady who has been instrumental in my success here. And without you, Sarah, I'd be lost. I probably would have just kept using the technology, but maybe not doing the business. And this has changed my life, my dad's life, my parents' friends, just everybody. And but there's one thing that I wanted to talk about today, and that is the model of the business. The model of the business is an MLM. And when people hear MLMs, they run for the hills. Do you wanna talk a little bit about the MLM and why it is an MLM?
I wanted to, your story is just incredible. And thank you for having me on today. Something that I love about this industry is your success in an MLM is dependent on what you put into it, right? So people who might have gotten into MLM or might have been introduced to an MLM and might not have gotten the results that they were looking for, they like to put the blame on the company, right? Versus the blame on themselves. And myself as an entrepreneur, I have learned with owning 4 companies. My husband and I, we have owned 4 companies, actually 5 companies. One of them we failed at. I can admit that. You fail sometimes in life. And when you own a company and you're an entrepreneur, your success, some things can factor economy and things like that. Yes, there are other factors, but 99% of the time, your success is dependent on what you put into it, how much you show up, right? You can't start a company and show up once a week. You got to show up every day. You got to make goals. When we sit down and we started all of our companies, we sat down with an advisor, we sat down with an accountant, we made budgets and goals and things we wanted to do for the year. This MLM, multi-level marketing, direct sales, we get a 1099. We are considered a business owner, right? We pay taxes like a business owner. So anytime I have gotten started in an MLM, this is my third MLM at 37 years old. Every single one of them, I have made more than 6 figures in, because when I get into the company, I treat it like a business. I am an entrepreneur. I make goals, I set goals, I put intentional effort into my business. So when we first got started in network marketing in 2005, I was young. I was 18 years old. I mean, I still consider myself young, but I was 18 years old, drop out of high school. I come from a very poor family that could not afford to send me to college. So I was working like 3 random jobs. I had aspirations to be, very successful. My boyfriend, now husband, put me into a network marketing company. And I don't know if I was just out of desperation and didn't really have anything else that was going to push me, into the direction I wanted to go. I went to my first meeting, said, wow, you can make a lot of money doing this. I went to the person who was above us. We call them uplines. I went to the person above us and I asked him, what do I do? What do I do to be successful in this company? And he gave me a list of things to do, and I went out and did it. It's that simple. I went out and I put the work in. My husband and I made over 7 figures in that business. And then we retired for a couple of years. I got in another business with my girlfriend, made over 6 figures in that business. And we've been in LifeWave now for 2 years. And we've already made over 6 figures in our first year. So it's just about putting intentional effort in. People get in and they treat it like a hobby. This is not a hobby. This is an actual professional business.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's interesting because this is I think it's my 3rd attempt at actually doing the business, right? I'm an actor, and I got involved actually with one company, and it was essential oils. You can imagine, if you guys know about MLMs, you guys know which, it's either one or the other, right? And I got involved with this company, and it was very interesting. I started doing the work, and every time I would do a presentation and people would not sign up with me, they would sign up with the next person who talked to them about it. I would do all the groundwork, and then they'd sign up with the other person. It was very traumatizing, to tell you the truth. Finally, I gave up. I still have my house filled with oils. I love them, but I didn't do the business. There was something that was just not clicking with me. And also, you can't force yourself to do something you're not aligned with. So the second one, this same friend told me about this. So I owe her 2 already. She got me into this sound frequency device, and we got in before it even arrived in the US. We were the pioneers, literally, in the US. I bought mine. I had to wait 4 months before I got my device. I started doing the business, and it started going well, but then I call them the MLM sharks. There's a group of people that, for some reason, find this gem of a company, and then they go in, and then they turn it into this, like, almost like a nightmarish situation. And that's exactly what happened with this company. And before it actually happened, I felt it. I'm very intuitive, and I just said, there's something really weird here. Something's changed, and I'm stepping out. And come to find out only last week that the people that I met through that company that I love have all left, because then it started going really sour. But then comes this company, right? And I didn't care what it was. I just knew that this product was going to change my life, and this was my answer from God. So I wasn't about to start questioning, well, it's an MLM, I'm not going to do it, right? But because it is an MLM, I find a lot of resistance from people when they hear it's MLM. Like, I'll save the MLM for the end. But one of the things that I understood, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the difference in this company is that the inventor of the technology is our CEO. And in order to grow a company to go global, you need cash. But if you start bringing investors in, then it becomes about the bottom line. It becomes about keeping your investors happy. Sometimes those investors take part of your company and then they start calling the shots because they have the cash, and products suffer. The ideology, the mission suffers. And in this case, because it's an MLM, I think that we've been able, or the CEO has been able to maintain the level of integrity that is part of his being. And that has allowed him to get the cash necessary, but he's still in charge. What do you think about that?
Oh, David Schmidt, hands down. There were a couple pillars that, you know, if I was going to come out of retirement, because I experienced the same thing as you. I'm obsessed with wellness, health and wellness. I will get out of bed for it. I will break my body for it. I eat, breathe, and sleep. My goal in life is to not wear makeup and to be as natural as possible. Like, I love anything wellness. My second business I got into was more of like makeup, shampoo, things that don't align with me. And yes, I made some money, but I just couldn't get that oomph, like that, like, you know, that heart beating excitement, like go out this, I'm obsessed with this. I eat, breathe, and sleep it. I couldn't get it from that company. They're a great company. I just couldn't meet their expectations to really be authentic when I'm sharing the product with people. So when this came along, and the first thing when I heard MLM, first thing was this. And it's not because I don't believe in MLM. It changed our life financially. Like,
you became a millionaire from MLMs, and you're still doing this, right?
I did because I got into a company just previous. I got into a company and I was not happy with where I was. I thought I wasn't being authentic. And then I saw like social media and people doing TikTok dances and selling their products and sliding into DMs. That's not me. And then I've never used Zoom like we're using today. I have never understood that you could truly have a stay-at-home business. And fast forward now, I have 3 children. We have 3 operating businesses. We had just sold a business that stole all of my husband's time. So I didn't want to get back into that again. So my thing was my time.
You have chickens. And you have chickens.
And I have chickens. I love my chickens. So 18 of them actually. So this was me. I was just like, hey, my time is most important to me right now. My children are at that prime age of 7, 9, or actually it was last year. So they were 6, 8, and 13. Sports, all the things. I just told my husband, no, baby, because I know you and me, if we do this together, we're going to go big and we're going to go crazy and we're going to put everything into it because that's how I do things. I'm an entrepreneur. But when I saw the company, right, David Schmidt, I've never seen anything like it. This is by far the greatest single product I have ever seen in the health and wellness industry, let alone network marketing. It stands alone. They have a 17-year patent. It is proven, patented studies. This isn't one of those things where, oh, well, we can't really tell you what it does because we're not allowed. Like, no, this guy has 20 years research, development, $10 million specifically just for the X39R stem cell patch. When I saw the sophistication behind the technology and the fact that the owner, CEO, founder of this company is the scientist and inventor, my mind was blown. You don't see that in direct sales. You see a team of, businessmen, typically from Utah, who have been in the industry for a long time. They're the collared suit type. They go and find a team of doctors. They bring the product to market to do this, right? David Schmidt is happy in a lab coat. He's always inventing. Before he launched LifeWave in 2004, he was already a 2-time recipient of the Advanced Technology Award from the International Hall of Fame. He's also a Christian. So he's a scientist who believes in the Lord. For me, I don't know if that means anything to you, but for me as a Christian, that was very important. He is a good man who is professional, who is brilliant. I always say, when someone asks me how would I describe David Schmidt? I would say he looks and talks like he could literally be Elon Musk's older brother. He is that brilliant. You have to hear this man speak. So yes, to answer your question, David Schmidt, hands down, the owner and CEO of this company, debt-free company, going into its 20th year and just now experiencing momentum for the first time. So that means our product is about to be a household name. We have the structure. We are already set up to do over $1 billion in sales. We already have the structure in place. For me, I said, okay, I can join this. I can get behind it. I can believe in it. And I know it's going to have my back too. You know, it's just not owned by people who all they care about is income. His main goal in life is to create technology that puts your body back into a state of healing. That is he eats, breathes, and sleeps it. Man's in his 60s, works out, great shape, eats well, works out every day. Like, I just align with this man on so many levels. So yes, you are the foundation of this company is everything, Hannah.
Yeah, it's funny because we recently had, well, on just Saturday, we had this event, and every time I hear this man speak, and I say I'm his groupie, because every time I'm like looking for interviews or things he's done in the past, so I can just hear him talk about this. When I joined, it's a completely different thing. I went not feet first, I went head first into it, knew nothing about the company, did not care. I just knew that God was answering my prayers. After I'm in, I started studying and learning. I'm like, well, I better figure this out, because people started coming to my parents. So I thought I'm going to do the business when I go back into the US. My parents started changing so much so quickly that people were asking them, what are you doing? I want that. I want that. So my dad was sending them to me. And eventually my dad even got into the business, and we're in it together now. But going back to David Schmidt, every time I hear him speak, I just feel like I'm aligning even more with him on a cellular level. Like literally his faith, his integrity, his desire for remaining young. And I'm always like, you know, I'm a grandmother and I'm going to be 60 next March. My quest has always been, okay, how do I remain young and vibrant in the best possible way without filling my face with Botox and fillers and stuff like that I don't believe in? Because on top of it all, you do those things and they come back and they haunt you. Eventually they collect. I've seen so many people deformed and so many people suffering the consequences of so many procedures, right? And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I'm so afraid of that. And I'm so highly allergic to everything that I had to find something. And this company just does not disappoint. Every day I thank my lucky stars. I thank God for putting this company in my path. And I'm just I cannot love the product any more than I do, I think. And then something happens and I do, like my heart just expands. But to do an MLM, to be part of network marketing, I like calling that better. There is a lot of self-development involved. It's not only the hard work and the dedication and everything. We have to grow our container in order to receive more. When that happens, I have seen friendships suffer, marriages suffer, when people don't grow at the same time. And you know, you and I have a similar story. And do you want to share a little bit about yours, Sarah?
Yes, of course. So I won't name names. And I am a very loyal friend, right? I had 5 sisters growing up and I'm close to my sisters, so it's just who I am. I will give the shirt off my back. You can live with me if something's going on. Like I literally just pour everything out right on the table from my friendships. And sometimes when you do that, it becomes expected, right? They said that person expects it from you. And I just think after years and years of that, it started to take a toll on me. So when I entered into LifeWave, immediately this person had, interest in joining, and do, hey, let's do it. And then, they kind of put the hobby attention into it, which, hey, by all means, I'm fine with it. I don't like to drag anybody over the finish line with me. I'm more of the type with, hey, I played sports growing up, like let's lock arms and let's run. You're only as strong as your weakest link, right? So she kind of like jumped in and then kind of backed out, supports the product, but it just wasn't a desire. They were going different places in their life. Well, we're almost second ranked from the top of the company now. So it's taken me, 18 months to get there. We're almost to the top rank, 19 months, right? So about 12 months in, when I really put my business in gear, we went to a convention for our team. It was a team ran convention. We were the biggest event the company has ever had in a 20-year in almost 20 years of the company being in business. And that event was just our team. We are the most winningest team in LifeWave. So after going to this convention, I was hyper motivated. It was self-development, just like Hannah just said. They had a lot of great speakers there and I was just on fire, just so hyper focused. And I was going to go on a 90-day run. I noticed after coming back from that event, I'm not going to have as much time to have our hour-long conversations anymore in the morning, or, call you right back, or I might have to cancel some plans because I have events that I have to do online. Everything is stay at home. It wasn't like I was traveling the world, but I was putting a 90-day intention into my business. I started to notice some tension in our relationship, and that tension turned into just finding anything they could to make me the bad guy, like kind of just to pinpoint me as the one. All I'm doing is just trying to further, just put my attention to something that's going to help my family, hit our goals. So anyway, long story short, our friendship did completely dissolve over something very small, which it's sad to this day. But after that friendship dissolved, and there's no bad feelings, I don't have any bad feelings towards her, because once the dust settled and I got that attention that I would put into that relationship and put it into my business since June of last year has doubled in size because I have no distractions. And I have no one kind of like telling me, I would be like, hey, this was what happened in my business the other day. They go, okay, that's cool. And they change the subject. I'm like, you're my best friend. Why aren't you celebrating me? You know what I mean? Like, so from walking away from that friendship, and I'm not going to say we're never going to be friends again, but walking away from that friendship has empowered me to put that attention that I put into that relationship into my organization and building real relationships. I mean, I have flown people in and they've stayed with me for a week at a time. People in my business, when I get off the phone, I say, I love you, bye. I have found relationships in this organization with people that make me better, that motivate me. I actually have one of my top income earners flying in for a month to stay in Florida, and they're going to be staying with us and staying in Crystal River. Like, I have these true relationships with people. We were all now just locked in, but sometimes carrying that weight, of people who don't support you or people who just have a bad taste in all, you're doing one of those pyramid things. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, support me. We're a legitimate business, 3-star rating, right? With the business from home. Like, from walking away from that, it was painful, but yes, Hannah, it has taken my life, my family, my marriage has gotten better. I've been a better mother. My business is exploding. My relationship with my mother-in-law has gotten better. I mean, just everything in life. Sometimes when you prune that plant back, like they do it with our crepe myrtles or with our gardens, when we owned our blueberry farm, sometimes you have to cut back in order for growth. And that's what I have experienced. Yes.
Yeah. See, yeah, me too. And then what happens is that space gets opened up, right? And then you get to choose what you're going to fill it up with. Because if you don't, the universe fills it up with whatever garbage it finds in the moment. So if you're intentional and you have your goals clear, then it is it just magic starts to happen. And sometimes it's scary, right? Letting go of a how many year old friendship. Like for me, it was a girlfriend that I met in high school, and we had reconnected, and every time I came to Mexico, it was wonderful. That was the first person I called, the first person I wanted to see. And now it's like almost like a shock to me. It was a shock to the system, right? Everything that happened. And but it just makes me realize that how much I've grown. And that person wasn't growing along with me. And somebody explained to me ascension, right? The ascension process. And I believe that wealth and health and mental well-being are all part of the process of ascension. For me, being in complete coherence and alignment with every part of you, every fiber of you, like not having an idea and thinking something different and saying something different, but everything being in alignment. You think something, you feel it, you say it and you do it, and it's all one thread, right? And that for me, being in complete wholeness and alignment with yourself, that's what allows you a deeper connection with God, right? And a lady explained to me one time, I said, well, what exactly is ascension? And they said, well, we're all on the same building, but we're going up the stairs, right? And we're locking arms, but some people get stuck. And then you keep like going up, or they keep going up. And then it gets a point where your arms are so stretched out that either one person either takes a step up or the other one has to take the step down, or you get stuck in that level. And a lot of the times letting go is what it takes. And it doesn't mean that that person is not going to do a leap and catch you up on the penthouse at some point, right? I've had to do that with people that I adore in my life, that I thought, oh dear, I'm going to let go and I'm never going to see them again. And all of a sudden down along the path, they show up because they've taken the steps and they caught up to where I was. Or I find them again because I caught up to where they were, and in that moment it wasn't the right time, right? So but in terms of the MLM, I just tell people that it's, if you're not willing to do the work, not only, you know, the calling, you have to do stuff that you don't want to do, right? Most people, the reason they give me is like, I can't sell. Thank God that this is not a business that we sell. It's like, I don't sell. I just share my story. I share my parents' story. And my whole life, my mission has been to spread wellness, well-being, and practical tools to create the life of your dreams. And this part of that's shown up in my life has been so amazing in helping people fulfill that and helping me fulfill that promise by sharing this wellness. Now, I've had people calling me. I got a voice message the other day from a lady that sent this to this one person who shared this technology with them. She was in bed waiting for a double hip replacement. She'd been in bed for 3 months. She couldn't walk anymore, waiting for her surgery, couldn't get out of bed. Somebody put the patch on her. 2 or 3 weeks later, she was walking, no more surgery. She didn't have to have the surgery. And she was calling, sent a voice message crying, saying, whoever you are, God bless you, because you gave me my life back, right? That fires me up. That's what makes me get up from bed every morning and share. My aunt, who has Parkinson's, it took 4.5 months for her leg to start tremoring and her to be able to walk again. She's now walking about 3 miles a day from wanting to die last year. Her tremors are all gone. And she told me, imagine if you hadn't shared this with me. That's a big one. That hit me right in the heart. Because a lot of the times I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I don't want to tell. I don't want to nag. I don't want to this and that. And then I remember that this is not about me. I keep calling and keep doing and keep sharing, because it's not about me. It's not how I feel. It's not how people are what they're gonna think about me. You know, if they don't like me, next, right? Because then they're not the person that is in alignment with this, right? It is. So then I'm like, okay, this is just not that person, but maybe the next one is, and maybe the next one, and maybe the next one. And I just keep saying next, not taking anything personal. And that's the way that we begin to grow like mushrooms.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And, you know, when I want to make a disclaimer too, just because a friend doesn't join the company with me doesn't mean I'm not going to be their friend. I was thinking about what I was said. I'm like, most of my friends and my family members are not building. Most of the people building with me are the warm to cold market, right? So, but what it was is someone pulling me down and discouraging me. You know, so that's what I'm saying. I don't want to say I would stop being friends with someone because they're not going to join with me. I hope that we make that clear.
No, but we become the average of the 5 people closest to us. And if
Yes.
somebody is like throwing cold water on your fire, it's like you can't keep going that way. It takes a point where you're like stretched out. It's like, you don't want to come with me, that's fine, but don't drag me down.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, this is, like you said, self-development. This is servitude. You know, the beginning of my business, when I started this, I'm a great student. I went to my upline and I said, what do I do? Just like I did in my last 2, right? What do I do? Because every business is a little different and industries change. And now with the beautiful gift of Zoom, the only good thing that came out of COVID, Zoom has made it so easy to build network marketing, because I can make that, like Hannah and I, we talk every couple of days. I tell her I love you when I get off the phone. We still haven't met in person. Like, we haven't met in person. And she's one of my, I love her. She's one of my closest friends right now. I love Hannah. And we've been able to do that through the power of Zoom and that power of connection and looking in each other's eyes. So what this business is all about is finding a company and a product that you can truly be passionate about, because people can see, people know. Like, right? They know if you are into it or not. That's why my last venture didn't go anywhere, you know, after a certain point. Yep. And then, well, after that, it's just sharing. What has it done for you? If you don't know the answers, then you plug them into someone above you who does. Then you see how this patch first can help them and where it can fit into their life. And if they want to know more about the business, you bring them into the team. That's all that we do. My phone's blowing up right now. You could probably keep hearing the ding, 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 ding. I'm at a phase in my business now where I just support my organization. I'm constantly helping them share it with the people they know. That's the power of network marketing. So once you share it with, I don't know, somewhere between 50 and 100 people, you go out and you start sharing it with those people. That's kind of my number between me and my husband. We put 62 people in that signed in to either use the product or potentially build a business. And it has grown into exponential numbers in the last year. You know, and I know you have the same story, Hannah.
Yeah, it's incredible. And you know what happened to me is that I started building in Mexico and I was living in the US. I was just here for a couple of months. And what ended up happening is I sold my house, sold my car, put my stuff in storage, and everything is in storage right now. And I literally grabbed 2 cases, my dog, my handpan, and my recording studio, and I moved to Mexico. I literally just packed and now I'm living here and avoiding all the cold weather, which is great. But yeah, if you'd asked me last year, if you told me I'm going to be living in Mexico after 35 years of having left and living in the US, I would have laughed. I would have just like not, I would have laughed. And And now I literally talk to anyone who will listen to me. I talk to perfect strangers. When I travel, which fortunately I'm very blessed, I'll sit and I'll be next to someone, and if I see them like rubbing their knee, are you in pain? I have something for you. I went to a restaurant the other day that I had been to a couple of times that I love, and the owner was there, and he's like, oh, my knee is just killing me. And I'm, your knee's hurting? I have something for you. And guess what? He tried the patch, and 2 days later, he calls me. He's like, I'm not in pain anymore. What the heck did you give me? What is in this? And I'm like, light. Nothing gets into your body. And so it's so exciting. It's also interesting because I've been called a bunch of names like snake oil saleswoman, witch, bunch of stuff, of names, right, that people call me because of this technology, because a lot of people are still not open to different ways. But I find it really hilarious when they're popping the Tylenol or the narcotics to go sleep, right? And they're like destroying their livers and their insides, and they have no idea. And yet they're knocking down something just because they don't know it yet. But that doesn't deter me.
Well, you know, it's as simple as, hey, are you interested in reactivating your stem cells? If they say no, they're not the one for you. It's a quick, simple answer. If they don't want to do it, or they don't want to know more about it, I have learned to bless them and let them go. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, for the people who say no, there's 2 times the amount of people who are going to tell me yes. You know what I mean? And I used to get hung up on the nose. It used to bother me, you know, because what's the first thing people do? They go to their closest network, their sisters, their best friends. And what did I just tell you? I don't have one of my 5 sisters wearing the patch. I don't have one of my best friends building the business with me. You know what I mean? Like, it is mostly my warm market. So you go to that hot market of yours, your closest friends and family, you know, they're either going to jump on board just like your parents did. My mom, I called her, I said, hey, give me your credit card. My mom got right in. She didn't hesitate. But then you got the ones who are going to beat you up, you know, and that's okay. Next, you cannot get hung up. The only people who are going to criticize you in this industry are the ones who are doing less than you, the ones who are not chasing a dream, right? Or maybe they've had a bad experience somewhere else. You know, so what I've seen is, if for the second someone tells me no, I say, okay, no problem. Next, I don't try to convince them otherwise. I move on and I find positive people.
Totally, totally. And it's interesting because I've had people who said no, and also remember that no doesn't mean no forever. It means maybe not yet. Like I never take a no for a final no. And just last night, I got a phone call from somebody that is in my downline. I called her and I said, I'm never going to let you go because I know you have potential. She's so shy. She doesn't talk to anybody. And I know, and she has a niece who's an excellent salesperson. And she had said, no, you're crazy, this patch, blah, 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 blah. And this was last year, a year ago. Last night, this woman calls me, she's like, guess who wants to do the business? I'm like, no idea. She said, my niece, because she talked to you on Wednesday. And I'm like, heck yes, right? So it's just proof that sometimes the timing affects, right? It's just not the right time for them. And then because they're starting to hear, or they're starting to see results on the people who are actually wearing the patch, they're like, wait a second, this actually works. Because even if they don't believe that they have somebody near that is wearing it, it's just undeniable. Like, people cannot believe how my parents look. Right? They go now, they're right now in Cancun. They went to my uncle's funeral, and a lot of people gathered, right? And they were saying, like, my parents would pass by and they're like, what are they doing? It's like, who did they make a pact with? Because this is too weird to see an 85 and an 84-year-old couple that look like they're in their 70s. You know, and my mom, the way she was walking, she was completely hunched over, using the walker, completely straight, walking tall. Well, tall, she's 5'2", but as tall as she's ever gonna walk. and she's just like incredible, has an incredible amount of energy, more than people half her age. 90% of my mom's friends are in their 60s and 70s, and they don't consider my mom an old person. She's never been like that, but now even less, you know. She looks a lot better than people that are in their 70s who are not on this technology. It's amazing. So, Sarah, thank you so much for being here today, for being here. It's always a joy and a pleasure. I love you.
I love you.
If it weren't for you, I would not be sitting here today. I'm so blessed. And now with the new products coming out, I'm just like jumping out of my skin. I kept getting messages from people. You were the first one to message me. Finally, this product, your thing is out, right? Remember about that particular product? And then I kept getting bing, bing, bing. It's like, this is out now. This is going to be out now. Because I heard the inventor talk about this particular, is it an enzyme, a peptide, amino acid? I think it's an amino acid, right? And it talked about men's health and how men should be on this health, on this amino acid since they're young, so that there's less chances of, you know, illnesses, and so their sexual years are expanded. And because there's so many men I have found recently, I had no idea, okay? So many men having problems with their prostate, with their sexual lives, with their, you know, having to pee every 10 minutes. It's just terrible. And to have this now available so that it can change their lives in so many more ways than one, it was just amazing. And when this product is coming out and I heard the first ingredient was that amino acid, I was just like literally jumping up and down by myself here, because it was over Zoom in my living room, just going like, yes, finally I get to spread this with people and spread the wellness and spread the love and spread the wealth. Because in these times when you takes $10 to buy a pack of eggs, thank God you have your chickens, but it's like literally every time one goes to the store, it's like I used to call Costco when I first started the $100 store, and then people were calling it the $300 store. Now we're up to like 500. Okay. It's like, you go to Costco, you're not going to leave for less than $500 at a time. And, you know, it's like you have to cut back on stuff. You have to start thinking in different ways. And frankly, we have the possibility of wellness and abundance and wealth in every aspect of our lives. And this company is providing that for us. And I could not be more proud to be a part of it.
Well, you know what I always say, every company is going to have every household name company, which is what we are right now. We are a 20-year-old going into our 20th year, just now experiencing momentum. We're the second fastest growing network marketing company in the entire world right now, #2 in the world. Our team is responsible for 40% of the company's growth. Our team, this is a team, in the last year. We are the winningest team and the second fastest growing network marketing company in the world. We're in over 76 countries right now. Okay. And you hear this. When you have the opportunity of a lifetime, you better take advantage of the lifetime of the opportunity, because the lifetime of this opportunity is only going to be for so long. And then everybody's going to know about LifeWave. Not everybody knows about LifeWave yet. And over in Mexico, they're #8 in the world for network marketing. Mexico, they love network marketing. United States is #1 in the world for network
and you know
marketing.
What the market reach in Mexico is right now? I'm afraid to tell it because I'm gonna get a flood of people coming over from the US and from other places. But it's 0.02%.
Wow.
That's our market reach. So when people tell me no, I'm like, next.
Yep.
You know, because I have 99.78 or no, 8% of the
Mhm.
market available to me right now and to the people who are building with me. I mean, 99% of the market available
That's
of
incredible.
people, of the people who are producing, income producing people, not the entire population, because there's a lot of people who are not producing, but income producing people, we have 0.02 reach in the market right now. So if
Wow.
this is not, if I'm not sitting on a gold mine, I don't know what the opportunity. I mean, I don't know if somebody's looking for an opportunity and they hear these figures, seriously, I don't know why they wouldn't immediately jump on this train and get working, because also it's not going to happen without working. It's just not going to happen by itself, even when you have all that opportunity. But the thing is, all you have to do is open your mouth and share. And if you don't have a story yet, share mine. Share my parents' story. I know a woman, and she'll be happy to talk to you. And we'll just take care of them. We'll train your people. You don't have to know anything. That's what I did. I knew nothing. Sarah, you have taken care of so many of my Zooms. I'm glad I've stopped bugging you so much. I learned from you how to present, what the presentation was. And then I'm like, oh, that's all you have to do. I can do that. And then when people understand how easy it is to just follow the script, you know, because a lot of people, I find that a lot of people, just the last thing before we go, a lot of people who fail in MLMs are the ones who come in and want to change the system because they think this is crap and it doesn't work. It's like they have a better way of doing it. And they want to invent the black thread, right? And invent the sliced bread, which has already been sliced and sandwiched up and packaged for you. All you got to do is repeat the system. And when people don't want to just follow the steps, step one, and they want to skip the step. And you know what the skipping the step is? Telling people about it, inviting people to events, showing up to the calls, showing up to the live events that we're creating. It's like people just like, nah, not going to do that. Oh, it's too much work. The 1%, the 2% that show up are the ones who are killing it. But I find it so sad that it's only 1 or 2% of my entire team that are putting the energy, the work, and just I'm funding the programs. I'm putting the room up. I'm taking the time. I'm doing everything. All they have to do is invite people. I get 1 or 2% of my people doing it. And then they're like, well, this business doesn't work. Well, it's working for me, working for my upline, who's almost senior presidential director, right? In a year and a half, mind you. What has it taken? It has taken for you to say, okay, I'm not going to do this business. I'm going to put this on hold. I remember when I first met you, you telling me we were starting building our hotel. The dock was about to start getting built next week, and I stopped it. And I said, we're not doing this. We're not going to scatter our attention. We're going to focus on this because this is where it is. You saw the opportunity, you knew it, and you went for it. And then we put the blinders like horses, right? And it's like, okay, let's just not spread ourselves thin, because when the opportunity is available, you have to take it and run. And life is so magical. It always gives you back exponentially what you put in. I have found, you know, you really don't have to put in that much. You just have to be consistent. Even if you do 1% of effort every day, but you do it every day, in a year, you're not going to have 360%. You're going to have 36,000% that's going to give it you back because of the compounding effect. So
anything in greatness takes consistency, exercise, your well-being, having a good marriage, having a good relationship with the Lord, any company you're ever going to own. It's not about going out and killing it over 3 months and then you're a millionaire. This isn't a get rich quick. This is a legitimate business that is rated very high, right? A lot of successful people, second fastest growing company in the world. Reason is because we have a system And we're all locked arms right now, and we're putting that consistent effort in every single day. Consistency builds momentum. It's that everyday effort that Hannah's talking about that I put in. There is not a day now that goes by that I don't put minimum 1 to 4 hours a day into my business. Now at the beginning, it was 1 hour a day. That's all I could give at the beginning. But now I put 1 to 4 hours into my business of intentional time into my business, and it has changed our life. We've never been a part of a company, or my income has never grown this quickly in anything that we have ever done. So it's definitely been worth the time, the relationships, and everyone around us is winning. Everybody who's locked arms and running and doing those, following a system and not trying to reinvent the wheel, we're all winning. But you don't want to wait 2-3 years. You want to get started now. You want to call Hannah now.
God.
Get on your team now.
2-3
Yeah.
years, 1 year I'm giving it.
Mm-hmm.
1 year. Next year, it's going to be different. It's not going to be that easy. Right now, it's fresh pickings. We're the first ones at your blueberry farm when the blueberries are ripe, right? We're going to get first pickings right now. And if we don't get intentional, that train is moving. And it's going to happen with or without us. And I heard the story on Saturday about how LifeWave almost went out of business. It happened. He almost went out of business right before the X39, right? And it wasn't meant to be, right? Because also there's faith involved, there's genius involved, but there's also hard, intentional work. And David Schmidt went back to the lab. He got a download. He followed it through. And this has catapulted the company. I mean, in the past year alone, we saw the chart in Mexico and it was flatlining. It was a little bit above. There were a few people doing it in Mexico, but now, since last year, literally the line is almost vertical with the growth that has happened in the past 4 months alone. So this is
You're a part of that huge growth. Your team is very much responsible for that growth. So kudos to the Mexico for Hannah's team. Very, very proud.
We're very excited. Anyway, Sarah, thank you so much. I'm so excited to have had this conversation with you. And, we know that, we're going to lose some people along the way, but the people that are coming in are such high quality, and it's so exciting to be part of this community. Thank you so much.
We love you, and I'm excited for 2024. Y'all get a hold of Hannah. Let's get on a Zoom together and let's run.